So we can start. Yep.
Yes, please.
Okay. How do you assess the role of an interpreter in the system of international relations? Is it merely a technical intermediary or a full-fledged participant in the diplomatic process?
Uh-huh. Mhm. So, I know that you are exactly the students who are majoring just in the international relations, which is quite what's the right word? Extensive, delicate, and exciting area of knowledge. So, and I'm very supportive to all your initiatives, and I think that you are on the right track, because when the international relations are getting more and more complicated, so one should be A, very knowledgeable, very committed to all the possible changes, and B, fit to figure out and answer all the questions that will outcome as the challenge sooner or later.
Okay, so the next question will be, how important are nonverbal elements like tones, pauses, and also intonation in international negotiations? And also, can an interpreter actually convey them?
So there is some special area of knowledge which is quite sophisticated, and the diplomats all over the world take these areas serious. Well, I mean the area of protocol. So one should be very knowledgeable on the protocol, which includes too many items and problems. So the way you talk, the way you greet your people, the dress code. Years ago, the Soviet Union had a very popular Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Shevardnadze, who showed up at one of the meetings in some red socks. It was the topic of discussion just for years and years. So it means that the way you talk, your tone, your skill, your proficiency, everything is vital. So, and I think that all the students who are involved in international studies, translation studies, well, they should be very well prepared just for all the possible changes that may come out in their professional life.
Okay, so next question will be, based on your experience, which skills besides language proficiency are critically important for working in international relations or translation studies?
It's a very, what's the right word? It's a very common question, just which comes to the mind of all the students of international relations. What should be your strong parts? What will be your merits? And how will you be? What is the actual way for being successful in this professional area? So everyone, I mean the people who are involved in the international relations in the practical sense, they all should be interesting. A couple of years ago, I have a good friend who was the first ambassador of the Republic of Kazakhstan in the United States, Professor Jamburshin. He used to come for the talks with the students of our university, and he was always asked, what should we do? What should be our achievement in the professional sense? They said, you should be very interesting to all your colleagues and counterparts you will be dealing with. So you should be very knowledgeable on the literature, national culture, everything, history, everything that concerns the country that you represent. And through being interested, you can win the confidence of the people you will be dealing with. If not, So there is no way.
Nurlan Kalaushevich, but if we talk about hard skills, something that we need to learn like in the long term.
To be a connoisseur, to be a specialist in the international relations, it involves information and skills from different areas. So we should be what? We should know. So
Everything. And be prepared.
Exclusively. Vienna Convention.
Yeah.
So this is the Bible of all the diplomats, because this is exactly that makes smart professional makes him a diplomat.
Okay, thank you.
So because there are obvious different areas within diplomacy. So you know the difference between a diplomat and a consul. So the people who deal with absolutely different things and different people. So there are lots of pieces of information to be acquired.
Thank you. What helps maintain accuracy and composure in your work?
You mean my work?
Yeah.
So
to be a professor.
To be a professor. So to be a professor, it means to keep an eye on the students. So this crowd of people is changing tremendously and very, very swiftly. So people are getting more educated, they're generous, and so that is one thing. The other thing is international relations or whatever. Well, you know, I teach diplomacy and philosophy. So there are lots of other things that come into content of these subjects. Well, philosophy, it's a very old science, and this is something rapidly developing these days as well. And diplomacy, you see how great are the changes, recent changes, I mean, in the structure and philosophy of diplomacy. So some of the changes are amazing. Just for example, the U.S. and Israel invasion on Iran, so it doesn't have any legal grounds. So, and the mankind should work out the rules how this world should be conducted. So, and these changes will be coming in a big way, and we should be ready to respond to all these challenges.
Yeah, but recent changes are really impressive right now.
Yes.
Something that happens right now in the world is really, really impressive. And actually, I think it is some coincidence and some troubles that we have today. We need to come through, and we need to find like another maybe kind of mindset or vision of diplomacy that we had before. Yep.
So the thing is that the detail that makes diplomacy absolutely different is that diplomacy is absolutely exclusively peaceful way of solving the problems. So there are no machine guns, there are no Colts in the hands of and in the pockets of the diplomats. So their argument, the strength of all the diplomats is wedding. The more people talk, the safer our world is. So thanks God, the diplomats will be very, very skillful and capable of solving the problems. We hope so.
Yeah. But to come back to our interview and our theme, which elements of the Soviet diplomatic school could be useful for modern specialists, for example, for international relations students?
So, I don't, I'm not expecting some innovations. So, the problem is that people should keep the track of what they have at the moment, because the problems are still there and they should be solved. But of course there are some, as you mentioned, some of the changes are amazing, and we should look very carefully and watch all the world developments. So we should survive in this world.
So, if we talk about innovations, do you think the digital environment has changed the diplomatic language and the style of international communications?
I don't think it'll have a great impact on diplomacy, on the information, and that will make possible the expedition of all the process, technical process like accounting. It can change life in some other areas, but diplomacy will stay as it is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. We will see. We can say
Because
something like that.
it's a very, very conservative way, because the diplomats of the 21st century, they are hardly different from the ones of the 19th century.
Yeah. So, how does the mindset of students today differ from the previous generations of diplomats?
I don't think so. So the thing is that as a professor, I'm not happy with most of the students because, well, I see their potential. I think that they're very smart and capable, but they're fantastically lazy. They don't do exactly what they are to do, and it's a waste of time in the long run. The thing is, I have been working at this university for some 18 years. From time to time, I meet and come across some of the graduates of our universities. Some of them are very well-off people, just very comfortable. Some of them made a good career. When we talk, say, what do you think of your studies? He said, just, we should have worked harder. That's the contemplation which comes to all of us sooner or later. And I think that probably our requirements are not as strict as they should be, but I think the programs, everything is in place. So probably it's my age that tells me.
But actually, it is an opinion. We can say that, yeah. And we all have different opinions about this
So the thing is
situation.
that the students, so when I was a student, just most of the time we spent in the reading halls. Sometimes when people ask me, well, when I am not happy with them, I said, look, so the best way to acquire English is to use English dictionaries rather than English Russian or English Kazakh, because you will be plunged in the atmosphere of one and the same language, and that will be very, very helpful to you. But they never listen to what I say. And once they asked me, how did you learn English when you were a student? I said, look, in one of the movie houses, cinema halls here in Almaty, at 10 o'clock, there was a smuggle, just some non-official demonstration of the British films. The British films, so they started at 10, they lasted for some 2 hours, till midnight. So there was no public transportation, and we had to walk home just on foot. So that was the way, because we were all very anxious to listen to the real English British speech. So that was a great source of enthusiasm for us.
And the last question, Professor, what is the main piece of advice or wish you could give to international relations students?
Yeah. So the thing is that all the students, irrespective, first-year students, freshmen, sophomore, whatever, so they should think that diplomacy will come into their life just the next morning, and they should be ready for that. They should learn about their country, their history. So to say nothing about their political structure and these professional sort of things. but they should get ready that this is the diplomatic practice is something that will come fairly soon. Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you for your attention. Thank you for your time, Professor.
Yeah.
And I think this is the end. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Yeah, bye.